Hello? Come on in. Oh, it's about time you guys got back. I was wondering when you're going to want to see what's going on here. I've been reading the comments, and a lot of you guys would like me to keep the paint job the way it is. So, by popular demand, I'm going to leave the paint job the way it is. You can see I've already started retouching the name, fixed some of the pinstriping, give the machine an oil bath. It's looking a lot better, isn't it? I redid some gold here and here. Not everything's perfect, but it's looking really good. So there you go. Because I care about what you guys think, I left the machine the way it was. Now there's a couple discoveries I made with this machine. And first is I found the serial number right here. Check that out. So we have a VIN number. Maybe I can track the year of this machine. And even one better is I found the name Eldridge E stamped into this shuttle. So I'm assuming this is an E model, and I was correct. It's an Eldridge. So maybe you guys can help me, point me in the right direction to find out what year this Eldridge is. Now I know it says Eatonia on it, but the maker is an Eldridge. It's got to be. It says right here on the shuttle. Check it out in the picture. So I got this cover cleaned up. Just wanted to have a nice smooth surface with no rust. So when we go to try to run a stitch on the machine, we have the best chance of doing so. I've polished the bobbin completely and polished all the upper tension parts so we could have the best chance to running a good stitch. I don't want there was a bunch of rust on here, and I'm assuming that would have caused friction and tension problems. And your upper tension is always a good thing to clean right away too, and there was a little bit of rust between the discs, so I got that all cleaned up. But anyways, you can see I have some parts laid out here. So today I'm going to try to fix this little pull latch here because it has a nut on there and it's very uncomfortable and hard to grasp. I have this handle from an old Singer cabinet, and I'm not sure if it's going to fit, but I'm going to try that. That would be cool if that fits. And I did try to thread this little brass screw-on piece to this, and it's too small. So if this doesn't fit, I'll hopefully be able to use this little piece, because I'm not sure what size the threads are on this, but it is threaded. That's why you see the vice grips here and the wrench, and I'll show you me fixing that. And these parts here. So what you see laying here on the table is 2 1/2-inch nuts, 3 washers, 2 rubber washers, a 3 1/2-inch bolt with 1 inch of threading, and a piece of PEX piping that will fit over top of this nut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hand crank that attaches right to the hand wheel. The only difference is I'll have to remember to turn the hand wheel towards me instead of a traditional hand crank where it turns away from you. But yeah, I'll show you guys how to make a hand crank if you have a spoked wheel. And then we should be able to run a stitch. I have to do some work on this bobbin tensioner too. I do believe this arm is bent, so I'm just going to bend this arm back in place so we can get some thread on here after I get all of that taken care of. But first, let's get started with knocking these covers off. I want to get the feed dog plate off and this cover off, and just take the rust off of those and make sure the feed dogs are clean. So let's get to it. was a couple easy fixes. When you guys are cleaning these plates, if you got a chrome plate, this one's chrome plated, just so you know, I use a wet sandpaper and a dry method, and that's how I first clean them, and then I'll polish them afterwards with some aluminum polish. As you can see, my rags are here, and that's how I get them clean. This one here was sheet metal. I had to sand this one down, so you know, take care when you're cleaning your covers. Sometimes I have to sand them, and I have to sand through whatever chroming or plating they have, and then I have to polish them. This one here, I'm just going to use a wet sandpaper to try to preserve the chrome and take off the rust pitting, just so it's not a rough surface. And then I'll polish it nice and smooth. Same with this one, just so you know. But there are times, like this one here, this one had so much rust, I used a 220 sandpaper. This is a used one, which sort of softens it a little bit more. But that's what I first used to clean the rust off of this. And if you're interested, some people might want to know how I go about restoring these. Anyways, or preserving, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to get these covers cleaned up. I'll get them put back on the machine. And get some thread in this machine. I think we're ready to run a stitch, guys. Pretty simple fixes. That worked out. I'm happy about that. Nice little brass knob. That'll look good. And you can make a wood handle for your hand crank if you want. You can use any material you want. You don't have to use this 1/2-inch PEX. This is just something I had available that fit over the pipe. Unfortunately, this Singer brass knob didn't work. I guess that'll be saved for another project later on down the road. I can get rid of this little rusty nut they had on there. It wasn't even the right threads, by the way, I noticed. So thankfully they didn't ruin the threads on the little spring-loaded pin you've seen there that I showed you. Anyways, enough jibber jabber. Let me get this machine together and get some thread on it. See if we can run a stitch. Okay, guys, it's time. to run a stitch on this machine. Yeah, it wasn't long, 2 videos. I'm just going to go through 4 layers of paper towel. That way we can see how balanced the stitch is and how well it's working. I put the tensioner together and I just turned it to a comfortable spot where I pulled the thread through and it felt right. Same with on the bobbin. And let's see how I did with my homemade hand crank. Oh, I'll move this bobbin tensioner. There we go. Well, it's working. I have to check the stitch length here. Looks like it's a little short. Maybe I can lengthen this. I'll tighten that up. Let me see there. Pretty quiet. It is running a stitch. Let's see how balanced it is. That's not a bad stitch at all. Whoa, it's pretty good. Oh, looks like it's pulling a little tight up here. I might have to loosen my upper tension a bit. But hey, it's working. There you go, guys. From a display piece, I'm banging my camera around here. From a display piece to a working sewing machine. And now it's time for me to pull it all apart and polish it and clean it. I think what I'm going to do though is I might try to fit an electric motor on this, but I want it something I can attach quickly and take off quickly. And next time you guys come back, maybe we'll see it running a faster stitch with an electric motor. It's working good. It's pretty quiet. And it'll be in a better looking state. Look how dirty everything is. Leaving tracks on the paper towel. Starting to bunch up right there. What's going on? Alright. I'm going to finish cleaning everything and do some more adjustments. But there you go, guys. There is my Model E, I'm going to call it, Eatonia, running a stitch. Until next time, guys, stay safe and I'll talk to you again soon. I'm going to play with this machine some more. That's pretty cool.